Hi everyone, welcome to our Survival is Profit series. Today is actually our 8th session. So my name is Azra, as some of you may already know, and I will be your moderator for this session. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And let me remind you again, what is our Survival is Profit, the purpose of us creating this series. Okay, this series that we created during this challenging time is for us to be able to help SMEs businesses by sharing what we know as industry experts, answer the questions you might have about the topic that we're discussing, or if you have any concern about your business. And most importantly, the objective is to give you values and tools to survive in this new climate. So as you may already know, these webinars are conducted regularly in a series with different topic coverage and different speakers and different panels. So today we are having a fireside chat session where you two speakers of whom are going to be discussing and taking questions on the topic that we have selected for today, which is running tech like a business. Where do you begin? Okay, without further ado, let me introduce you to the two guests of honor that we have today. Our first speaker, he has over 27 years of experience in the IT and tech industry, who has seen the internet boom and investors losing money in tech-related businesses. Since then, he has helped his clients to use information technology as an enabler for his clients, from improving customer experience to creating cost efficiencies via automation. So let us all welcome Mr. Chi Yan, Consulting Director from Tech3 Consulting.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mr. Yan.
Hi.
It's so good to have you here with us.
Thank you, Ezra.
All right. Let me welcome our second speaker is none other than our Group CEO of PenPages Trinity, Mr. Christopher Ng.
Hello, everybody. Apa
Hello,
kabar?
hi.
Thanks,
Kabar
Azra.
baik? Yes.
Kabar baik, ya?
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ian, for coming on board.
Well, it's wonderful to be here.
Yeah, this is our 8th session, and it has been quite some time since we done this consistently because of the CMCO, So thanks again for coming in.
Yep, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Chi, and thank you, Mr. Christopher, for being here on our 8th session. Everybody in the audience, we have an amazing speakers with impeccable credentials with us today. Therefore, that I'm sure all of you will learn a great deal from our session today. So let me brief a little bit on our agenda. Okay, our session today is a fireside chat session. As some of you may already know, our fireside chat section is conducted quite casually. So our two speakers will be sharing and discussing between them on our topic of the day, which is, let me say again, technology. Running tech like a business, where do you begin? So we are still going to have our Q&A session later, as usual, at the end of the session. Therefore, any concerns or queries, or if you have any questions, please submit them in the comment section, and our speakers will try to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, so now that everybody is clear on our agenda, I will leave our audience to both of our speakers today.
Thank you, Azra.
Thank you.
Well, Survival is Profit is designed to help SMEs through these tough times. And we're thankful and grateful that we're able to contribute or give some sort of support to each other. The hashtag Kita Support Kita. And most of our audience are tuning in from Malaysia, but there are also some from Vietnam, Thailand and Cambodia as well, some of our clients from there. We've been getting a lot of requests and inquiries from clients, business associates, friends, on how to use technology for their business. So here we are. So that is why we have this session today. So maybe we start off with kick it off with a simpler question for Chi Yan. In brief, maybe you could let our audience know what is Tech3? What is Tech3? What do you guys do?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Chris. Wonderful to be here, and wonderful. I'm glad that I can have the opportunity to share. Tech3 Solutions, we're actually established since year 2002 and as a hybrid system integrator, and we're just a team of technology evangelists and consultants that consistently grow our skills and knowledge in IT. And more importantly, is our vision and mission, right? Is to continually build a platform that adds business value for our clients and will enable them to gain a competitive advantage in the market. That's very important. It's always business focused, right? And our clients' growth is our growth. Hence, enabling our company to provide opportunities for people to achieve their respective goals, ultimately facilitating the desired path to self-actualization. So that's our vision, mission, and that's what Tech3 is all about. System integrator and hybrid IT. Yeah.
Self-actualization. That's quite a great vision statement, right?
Yep.
Well, I've been talking about digital transformation for the past 7 webinars, all our Survival is Profit series. And they usually come from my point of view, which is the digital marketing standpoint, which is more of the external. Like how do you utilize the digital platforms to market your product, communicate with your clients. But maybe today you can explain a little bit on the definition of digital transformation from the technology industry point of view, and how does it go hand in hand with digital marketing or digital transformation? How does that go together?
Sure, Chris. Fantastic. Okay, let's start with the fundamentals, right? With digital transformation, if you ask 10 people in a room to describe it, they'll describe different parts of the elephant, right? So that's how convoluted it can be. But let's keep it simple, right? I think digital transformation is nothing more than the integration of digital technology into all areas of business. And it fundamentally changes how you operate and deliver value to your customers. And maybe we can share a bit later on afterwards, but it's also, more importantly, a cultural change that requires organizations or businesses to continually challenge the status quo, experiment, and guess what? Get comfortable with failure. Something you don't hear very often, but it's in a world of fail fast, fail hard, but you fail fast, right? You recover and you try again and again. And just to answer your question, how does it relate to digital marketing? A lot, right? When you digitize your business, digital marketing is very much part and parcel of it. Why? It's all about cost efficiencies. It's about reaching your target audience, defining the persona that you want to target, and then getting the results that you want. The digital journey has to be end to end. It can't be just front end digital, back end manual paperwork or the Excel spreadsheet, right? Yeah. So that's where we're at.
I totally agree. We have clients or even the business associates whereby when we were helping them or supporting them in terms of the digital marketing journey, and somehow, let's say example, the campaign does well, or we really get good leads, or when we get a lot of good sales, but the internal team is not comfortable with the kind of volume or the kind of methodology that we get the kind of leads, and they fail to retain those clients. So it is possible, right? If it's not end to end, and then this will break down in some parts in the organization, isn't it?
That's right, definitely.
Well, the COVID-19 outbreak has also brought economic disruptions to the small, to the medium, even large enterprises, right? We see office closures, restricted movement, supply interruption, and most SMEs are simply unprepared to deal with the pandemic of this scale. So based on our topic today, what is your business point of view? What is Tech3's reaction when the pandemic hit you?
Yep, sure. I think the immediate reaction was that, what do we do next? Number one, there were two parts of it. The first part was the internal part. What do we do internally with our team? What do we do with funding, finances, all those things that really matters to the business, right? And number two, what do we do with our clients? How do we help our clients to continue to operate if they need to? Our customer base comprises largely of businesses from the critical services, some financial services, telco, hospitals, healthcare. So with this few fundamental industries, they need to continue to operate, and we continue to demonstrate leadership from that space. And Jonathan and Alistair at the helm of the company, they rallied the team internally to say, you know what, we need to continue to engage, not pull back, not scale down, but engage. And it required some bravado because we don't know what's ahead, right? There's a lot of uncertainty, but we went with that ahead. So the leadership is key. I think having the right leadership in place is very key to turning this around.
I think the pandemic has forced many businesses to reshape how they run their day-to-day operations, and many focuses on business continuity planning, right? To keep the business operations through and continue to have these operations through the crisis. That means, right, we have so many gurus and mentors discussing about how to keep your cash, maintain cash flow, reserve cash, be thrifty now. And that is like a lot in our minds as entrepreneurs or business owners and management, right? And what do you think? Should businesses hold back on technology spending, or like now on the next year, like 2021?
Yep, sure. I think the short answer is no. And if you have the funds, well, let me explain, right? Why is it no? The right thing to do is actually to prepare for the turnaround, because there will be a turnaround. And when the turnaround happens, there'll be an increased surge because there's a hunger for goods and services that people have been holding back during the pandemic. And also, the second thing is that what the pandemic has done is economically weed out the weak, and looks like the stronger organizations have survived, right? They've been through it, they're tough, they know how to go through this tough period, and the ones who are not so weak, it gets eliminated in the process, right? So based on that, why I say don't hold back if you have the funds is because you need to understand and categorize what you're spending your IT tech or your digitization technology on. Is it run the business? Is it grow the business? Or is it transform the business, right? So how do you spend the money is important, because if you're noticing you're spending a lot of money on running the business, I don't think you're getting a lot of ROI from that, right? You may want to rethink carefully on how you spend the technology. And I think the takeaway from this point is to be conscious of it. Be conscious of where you're spending the money, so whether you're running the business, growing the business, or transforming the business. And when I say transform the business and going through the digital transformation, right, I think business owners like yourselves out there, listeners, should be thinking really about how to become the next Airbnb or Grab. How do you disrupt the industry while you have the opportunity to disrupt the technology, disrupt the industry when your competitors are floundering and trying to find their foothold in this situation? That's when you have the competitive edge and take advantage of that. So in relation also to, if I may add, in the fourth industrial revolution, right? Dr. Klaus Schwab in 2016 already said it. In 2020, he said that 50% of the workforce will be digital natives, connected 24/7. You know what? We're in 2020, we're looking into 2021. In fact, Dr. Klaus Schwab in 2016 didn't expect the COVID-19 to happen, right? But we are already here, and we are taking advantage of technology, especially in your space, Chris, digital marketing. Everybody's got a mobile device. Everybody's on a laptop. Everybody's connected somehow, right? How, if you're running a business, if you're not digitized, how do you reach out to your customer space, right? We just hear of another newspaper this morning folding up, and they say, you know what, because print media is dead. Nobody ever buys newspaper anymore, but everybody's online on social media, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, or whatever it is, right? Whatever's coming next, we have to be ready to adopt and maximize that and take advantage of that, so that you can scale, right? So that you can understand your customers a lot better, so that instead of a shotgun approach in a newspaper ad, you're using a sniper rifle to pinpoint at the persona that you want, get the leads that you want, and translate that lead into a transaction and the sale. So that's where we're at.
Historically, technology adoption with Malaysian companies has been very vendor driven, and it leaves us quite far behind other neighboring countries. Recently, we have this report from Google, Temasek, and Bain, and we saw that there's a huge new influx of new internet users or new online users, digital users. About 40 million of them are in Southeast Asia alone. And that is like a real huge bump there because of people are forced to go online because of the lockdowns and all this COVID situation. So based on experience, PenPS Trinity, which we have branches all over Southeast Asia, we have it in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, we have one in Bangkok, Thailand, and Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and some of the branches in multiple states here in Malaysia, northern, southern, and all. Usually, our clients or the SMEs, they use technology more aggressively if they are in the very exposed in the tech infrastructure arena or digital marketing, but they wouldn't know whether their company, whether are they behind or are they in front, you see. So how do business leaders take stock on how ready the technology is, and to especially to manage this kind of uncertain times?
Sure, yeah. I think the best way to start is, starting with a digital capability assessment. That's something that Tech3 does. You don't have to have Tech3, but that's what we do. We give you an assessment that will give you a baseline of where you're at with your business with technology. Now, remember, I think Tech3 is all about processes drive technology, not technology drive processes and business, in the sense that you don't go out and buy technology first and then figure out, hey, how can I fit this technology to work in my business? No, we go with your processes first. We understand your business and your business needs, and then only going to shopping for technology. With the digital capability assessment, you're able to identify your weak areas where you need to work on, and you have a clear idea of what the end state will look like eventually, and building roadmaps to achieve your end state. That's very important. The end state also should be well defined or clearly defined so that it's easier to understand, and more importantly, something you can communicate to your own team members, your board of directors, or any other stakeholders. The assessment should also be agnostic and neutral and always put business first. So it's more skewed towards, although it's a CISO's agenda, but it's skewed towards the CFO, the head of finance, or the CEO, because the digital capability assessment is all about your business, not about your technology. The technology is secondary, but it employs technology in order to give you that advantage. So to answer your question, Chris, how do business leaders take stock of the technology is to do an assessment and understand where you're at right now. Yeah.
Okay, so that assessment will also cover like what are the technology to run the business, what are the technology to grow the business, what are the technology to transform the business, as you mentioned earlier on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that sounds like quite a big area for tech management. And besides what you mentioned, usually in the business sense, we talk about the 7 spokes of business, right? Management, finance, HR, operations, marketing, sales, and R&D for products, right? So these are the 7 spokes. So how and where should they focus their IT spend? Is there any one particular aspect or which is the one that can give them the greatest potential return?
That's a great question, Chris. That 7 spoke of business, that has more or less, you can use it along with what I call the business model canvas as a starting point. For those who are not familiar, please apologize, because I need to run through this, just make sure that everybody understands what the business model canvas or the BMC, and how does it help the CEOs identify, right, where your value chain is and how do you apply digitization to your business, right? Starting from left to right, left is your key partners, and of yours, right is your customers, right? And in between is how you value add, build the value for your business to ultimately provide a product or a service to your customer. With this business model canvas, if you've gone through it thoroughly and you understand from your business point of view where the areas, what are the key activities, what are the key resources that you normally consume, and key partners that you work with to develop your value proposition. And why is this important? For example, if you felt that your key activities can benefit from automating a certain process, or benefit from IoT, for example, right? You achieve efficiency there. Once you have the efficiencies, you'll find that you start to separate yourself from your competitors, right? Because nobody can copy what you do, and because this is a fundamental of your business. So if you look at this business model canvas and you identify spots on where you want to start at, so in relation to Chris and your line of work, channels is a very key part. How do I reach out to my customers? Do I use Facebook? Do I use LinkedIn? If my customers are B2C, what do I use? If it's B2B, what do I use? And that's your area of expertise, like Chris. We can tell our customers on, you know what, I can optimize your channels. I can build customer relationships. Why? At the end of the day, I'm going to drive my revenue stream through these 2 things there, which is essential to my business. I think almost all, if not almost all businesses today will definitely have to rely on the digital marketing part of it, where my channels are constantly transforming and changing. Hey, this year could be TikTok, next year you don't know what it is, right? So we don't know.
It
But
really depends on where your audience are, where your target market for your product, right?
Absolutely,
and,
right? Yeah,
and
absolutely.
also the idea or the strategy behind like say like one of the elements in the business model canvas, like customer relationship or customer segments, right? That's also where how we can mobilize the channels to help and connect and reconnect. So for us, right, we also invested into many different tech tools, right, to help us improve in terms of productivity, to track efficiency, to manage project, or to capture and track data and understand analytics. And as a premier partner of Google, so of course we started off using Google solution like G Suite, their cloud, like Google Drives and Hangouts and analytics, and also we use many tools like HubSpot and project management tool like SLOs and all. And one of the main focus this year is to have our organization effectively remote work. Means remote working is like we see that social distancing and it will be here to stay for quite some time. So to have good systems and to build good work culture was one of the pinnacle and one of the most important aspect that we set for this year. And even before the MCO, we've been testing like sub teams to work remotely, and and when the MCO came, we were thankful that we were not hit as bad, didn't disrupt our productivity as much, but instead it actually helped us improve and take our productivity level to another question. You see, so and one of having said that, but to us the most important two aspects is how do you grow your business. Is the two aspects to grow your business is how do you retain your clients and how do you acquire new clients, right? So we put a lot of time and resources and avenue to continue to communicate with the existing clients, creating new channels, creating different methodology to continue this relationship with the existing clients, while also we explore multiple channels to generate leads to acquire new clients during this time. And of course, in the back of our mind is how about security? When we grow larger, security is going to be an issue, right? Hacking and nowadays there's so many of these security breach and all. So and we are not sure, as SMEs, many of our clients feedback to us like, how do we prepare? How do we accelerate this adoption of technology and to prepare to scale up? When the market turns around, like now everybody is talking about vaccines coming and things like that, right? So there are many companies that are already planning like how do we scale up and adopt this technology and beat our competitors in the near future.
Excellent
so what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point of view. Short answer is, I think having key partnerships. For example, right, if if Tech3, we're a system integrator, digital marketing is not our strength and not our space, right? But it's your space. You're the expert. You're constantly innovating and finding new ways, right, to engage customers and clients. You're also finding new technologies and you're applying data analytics and really dissecting what should be our customer target segment. Hence, I think the key word right here now is partnerships. With that key partnership with Trinity, I think Tech3 can accelerate. So back to our business owners and business leaders within this call today, I think that in order for us to accelerate, I think the partnerships, looking for key partnerships and people that you can trust, they can do the heavy lifting for you and to help you to get to your timeline faster is quite critical and quite important. Why? Is because I think if you're in a red ocean market or red ocean industry where you get lots of competitors, as your competitors are falling out in the last 3 to 4 months during COVID, if you want to accelerate ahead and take advantage of this small window and this gap here right now, right, is to just go ahead and find the right partner who you can trust to run ahead with you. Not only in the digital marketing space, but in digital transformation space with companies like Tech3, right? In here, you can say, instead of spending the money on running the business, switch it around. Those things which are BAU or business as usual, yeah, consume it from the cloud or consume it from wherever you want at a lower cost, but start to shift your money towards transformation so that you can really differentiate yourself and bring value to your customers and to your partners as well, right? In that space. Yeah.
But the thing is, Chien, many of the SMEs out there now, we can't even think of transformation yet, right? Or growing the business. They've been like trying to figure out like, how do I maintain and run the operations, and cash could be tight and all. How could they, find that that discipline to be able to say, okay, let us reserve some funds, or let us, put some resources for the growth or for transformation. How do one organization do that?
Yep, sure. I think, yeah, like I qualified myself before. If you're going to do tech spend in 2021, if you have the funding to do it, please by all means do it, because it will give you the competitive advantage. But if you are tight and you need to prioritize, right, it's going to be based on needs first, right? Obviously, surviving this particular turnaround is important and should be given priority. And I think the most often overused term is that people are your assets, cannot be more important at this point in time, where you've got key people helping you in your organization. So I still believe that, coming through this turnaround, and if you've got enough money to look at your digital technology, do so and do so quickly. Those things does not value add to you. In fact, I was having lunch with a banking client today. So even banks, such large organizations and banks, always buy technology first, then they think about the processes and the organization later. They always get it wrong. Even banks do the same mistake, right? So don't go into that mistake of buying technology. Don't jump into it. And I think the other advice is that you don't almost always have to have the latest and greatest, right? Whatever fits your purpose, use it.
So those who, let's say, like what you said, those who are not aiming for growth or don't have the fund, maybe they're just looking to reinvent their business instead. As so many platforms out there, so there's a lot of free tools out there, right, that they can actually use. So if they need to know like which part to do it first, and also, does the Tech Tree's assessment help them? Like how do you, maybe you can brief us a little bit how you overview this and how can you assess this for them?
Yeah, sure. Based on our digital capability assessment, there is 3 key areas we look at. We always look at people's digitization technology in terms of people, process, and technology, right?
People, process, technology.
Yeah,
people,
and then there's
process.
a slide. I'm sure there's a slide that I've got prepared for that. If you can have it up. Yeah. It's not this one, but I think it's the other one. No, sorry. Never mind. I'll just go ahead and talk about it. Yep. Yeah. So people, process, technology. People in terms of capability, understanding how prepared they are, how skilled they are in terms of adopting technology and employing technology as well. In terms of their maturity in ensuring that the technology applies to the business and they maximize and sweat their assets in terms of technology. Then there's the processes, very important. If you don't have the processes, then you're flying blind because you're letting that technology drive you. And then finally, that comes the technology, sieving out what applies and what doesn't apply to you. Especially when people buying ERP systems are very common. They buy the lock, stock, and barrel, and they find they only use 30% of the entire package, right? And they pay lots of money through their nose. Why? So if you go through the exercise, then you understand, oh, now I realize that I don't need the whole lock, stock, and barrel, but I just need specific technologies to help me automate certain processes, and it's good enough for me. I can run my business lean and mean without having to overspend. So that assessment helps your business to understand and take stock of where you're at, where the excess fat is, and where do you need to trim in order to be more effective and more efficient. The keyword is efficiency.
I'm very excited that today Tech Tree and the team has offered to be able to provide this digital assessment, digital capabilities assessment for all who's tuning in. I think later on you will see a link there from our worksheet, whereby if you are interested to assess your company's digital capabilities in all the 7 spokes of business aspect, and they will Tech Tree will help us help you to be able to assess and give you some suggestions, or even give you where you stand in terms of that particular area. I think it's it's going to be very good for all of you to know where you stand in that digital capability standpoint. So do click into this worksheet down there and submit your details, and our consultants will arrange for that for you for free, right? Free of charge. Okay. Anyway, so and I understand from Chien, you said that the digital transformation definitely help the business. So whether you are at the growth mode, whether you're at the transformation mode, whether you're just running your business mode, right? So maybe can you explain a little bit more on like the focus area? Say if you're running your business, what type of elements you need to look at in terms of technology?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, in fact, it's probably easier with the slide that we have right now. In terms of how this So when under running the business will be typical things like backup and recovery, security, network. Then if you're in a cloud space, platform as a service, it'll be compute. It'll be storage, to put in simple terms, right? Without being too technical. Basic things that you need in order to run your business, right? So that's run the business. Growing the business is a different thought process, right? If I'm in a rapid growth stage and I like to really accelerate, right? And remember my philosophy of fail fast, fail cheap, So going to auto scaling, and then also when I grow fast, I don't want to crumble because I want to scale robustly as well. So high availability is another capability. In terms of the philosophy of fail fast, fail cheap, cloud management is important because you want to burst to the cloud. If it doesn't work, never mind, just shut it down. It doesn't cost you more than anything, right? Just shut it down. So yeah. Then it's software as a service. Apologize for the background.
Are you okay? Are you okay? All right. So I think basically what you're saying is there's different aspects and different features of the digital transformation, right? So there's so many elements there. I like the fact that you brought out the security, like antivirus, malwares, and stuff like that, because we have witnessed within this year several times of some of our clients, some of our business associates, that they have been attacked for malware, for their finance, their financial accounting tools or accounting software, or to some of their websites and all. So in that aspect, have you had any experience resolving this for the clients, like security issues to beef it up? What is the best practice that you can share?
You mean, sorry, Chris, just to clarify the question, Chris, you mean how does a business go about selecting what's appropriate for the business?
Yeah, like what are the mandatory securities, defense to deploy for your business? Let's say if you're running a retail, or let's say you're running just a smaller setup, right? So because we do see that there this kind of a situation nowadays with the security. And what are your experience about this?
Yeah, so selecting security products. Yep, sure. I think it falls back to what you need first. What areas you're trying to protect. For larger, more complex organizations, is internal protection and external protection. For the smaller, like F&B, smaller businesses, it's mainly external threats that you're worried about. It could be malware, it could be antivirus. Those are important. That's the bare basics. And then ensuring that your data is safe as well. Because if you have store customer data on your systems, it's also subject to, and depending on which country you come from, but most country has Data Protection Act protecting customer data. So that's very important. If you lose that, there are penalties. You're going to make sure that you protect it sufficiently with the right level of technology and tool. Yeah.
Right. But for SME, does it occur often because it's a smaller setup? It might not be so big that people want to aim at them. But it does happen, right? It still will happen, right?
Yep. It happens from surprisingly, I did read a survey recently. If from medium SMEs, it comes from internal staff sometimes. So you have to protect it from internal protection. A lot of people overlook because they look at outside, but they don't look at inside. And people, the staff do, take retrieve information and then sell it or do something with it. So have to be very careful from that point of view. You're right.
Right. I think there's many aspects that we can look at. I'm sure your digital capability assessment will also cover that, right?
Yes, that's right. It covers the security aspects of it as well.
That's great. So, well, before we move into the Q&A session that we're going to take from, there's quite a number of comments or questions posted to us in the comment section, because now we are live in both YouTube and Facebook in multiple channels. So they were picking up quite a number of comments. Before we move into that, I'd like to share one of the statistics that we've been exposed to nowadays. This COVID has accelerated the adoption of digital technologies in all regions of the world and across all sectors, right? And many people have implemented, many companies have implemented permanent or temporary digital solutions to meet like all the new demands, and and it's much quicker than what everybody has thought possible. And this digital adoption has shown a huge leap by several years in the span of these few months. These few months, we actually did outdo like 4 years ahead. Like for Asia Pacific, like the adoption of digital adoption rate is like 4 years ahead within these 8 months. So within the 8 months, 4 years, they cover the 4 years prediction. So this shows that there are many that's already adopting into this digitization of the company. The problem is where to start. We do not know, right? Is it from the finance side? Is it from the security side? Is it from the marketing side? Is it for operations side, project management side? What are the technology that can support that? I think that now currently is like one of the greatest indicators that one company must actually at least know how, or at least know where you stand now, and how do we move forward. I think that's why we brought TechTree in today, and they are offering this free digital capabilities assessment. So do put in the worksheet again. I'm being a little bit repeating myself, but it's so important that I encourage all of you to use that assessment. Well, I think now that I think we have about time to take some Q&A from the crowd. Is it okay? I will do that now. Jian, are you ready? Yeah, it's quite a number of comments there already.
Yep, I'm good. Let's do it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Azra.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna move on to Q&A session. I'm gonna pull some questions here. Okay, this one. Oops. All right, this one. How do you see technology evolving over the next 10 years?
Sure.
It's quite an open-ended question. Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I take that? Yep. Yeah. I think it's gonna be quite exciting as we improve in terms of efficiency and how we use energy. And not only that, the compute power will continue to be exponential, right? But more importantly, not so much the technology itself I see is exciting, but I think what is exciting is how businesses employ and use the technology effectively to be more profitable, to know their clients a bit more, while balancing privacy. In that same report that Dr. Klaus Schwab gave in 2016, he said that economies, and you can apply economies to companies as well, economies that have the digital advantage today and take advantage of it, right, will leap forward, and the digital gap will become greater and greater and greater. So if you don't take advantage of it today, you cannot realize the benefit of it 3 to 5 years later. And you don't want to be left in the gap, because your competitors will definitely do that and take advantage of it and continue to innovate as they go along the way. So that's how I see technology more, because I have a passion for technology growing with business rather than technology for it alone itself. So I think it's important to link the two together. Then you see the benefits of it and you get excited about the changes that are coming ahead.
Yeah. I think for my opinion is it's ever evolving, right? And the pace is getting faster and faster. And those who are not exposed or not ready to go into learning this, they will be left behind. And we do see, from some of the businesses like transportation, from the likes of the taxis to the Grabs and Ubers and all. So all these are what we call, we do see those who adopt to technology, able to utilize all these platforms, they are able to evolve and to maintain competitiveness, right? So I think it is quite mind-boggling a little bit, and it sometimes worries us as well, like how technology is going to move towards, right? And but the important part is from top down of an organization, we need to have the commitment to at least explore, right? And to be able to get the knowledge and the know-how. Especially, I love what you shared just now, Chien, that people, process, and technology, right? It has to go hand in hand. So I think the next 10 years is going to be super exciting.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna go to our next questions. Okay, how to know which transformation strategy is still relevant?
Okay, yep, sure. I think the one that's most relevant and most important is something that only you would know in your particular business, right? I bring back the business model canvas, right? That's only just a framework for you to understand which area you should start with. And McKinsey did a study, and they said that 43% of people who embarked on a digital transformation journey on their own did not realize the profits that they were looking for. Why? Is because clarity of vision. What are you trying to achieve here? If you know that that objective is very clear in your mind, no matter what consultants you go out with or whoever that you interact with tell you, you know deep in your heart that that's the right thing to do for your business, and that's always relevant to you. And that's how I see business do sustainable profitability and sustainable growth year on year, year on year. It's not just one shot wonder. I get a fantastic profit one year and that's it, downhill from there onwards. It's always sustainable. And that's when you know that the transformation strategy is relevant to your particular business.
Yeah, I think one important note is always to remember that you should fit the technology to your business, not fitting your business to the technology. I think we can share that through our experience many years ago when we first adopted the CRM, which is a customer relationship management, right? And we were excited. All the salespeople to our marketing team to all the way to the finance and the fulfillment team will be all connected through this CRM. But to be told is we wanted to mold the business towards the particular features, to fully utilize it, and it didn't really work for us because it was very tough to customize this, customize that, and to be able to mold your whole business towards the platform, and end up we failed, right? And then we use other resources, and then we need some time to adapt to it. But most important is always the mindset, the belief of the entire organization, because then you will somehow, like you say, fail cheap, fail fast, right? So you have to move and continue this direction until you find that niche. Oh, that is the sweet spot already that we got. I think this transformation strategy will always, ever evolving also. So just have to keep on pushing it in. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Chris. Next one, we have this. What is the most influential digital tech in implementing digital transformation?
Yeah, sure.
Trying to get an idea of what is the most popular tech or what is the most that is being used.
Yep. Yeah. So what I did is I did a study earlier this year, and I still think it's still relevant today, where industry leaders, publications, and thought leaders talk about what is the emerging technology for 2020 and 2021. I think it's still relevant. And the top 5, it's almost always artificial intelligence, data analytics. Those are the key ones, Internet of Things. However, what I found the gap is that when thought leaders talk about these technologies, what relevance is that to my business? You know, I say I'm running my business, and you talk about artificial intelligence, or talk about IoT. How do I employ? So there's always a huge gap, I think, between thought leaders and people in the marketplace influencing digital technology. But in terms of digital transformation, I believe that the cloud or the hybrid cloud plays a huge influence in how you operate, because you have the flexibility of how you want to deploy your company's services, especially more so with COVID-19, with people working from home. Now, how can I enable my employees to continue to be connected to my servers and my key services and my process to continue to process that purchase order, to process the invoice, to make sure that my suppliers are paid, to make sure my employees are paid. So fundamental things like this, no talk about the artificial intelligence and IoT, but even basic things like this. I think one of the influential digital technology is hybrid cloud, IT hybrid cloud. Yeah, and you can find out more at our website at tech3.my. We talk about IT hybrid cloud a lot.
Right.
Okay. Our next question is, how do we accelerate company digital transformation?
Yeah. So I kind of talked about that earlier on, but I don't mind repeating again. I think it's finding the right key partner, a partner who's done that before, been through that journey before, and they know how to help you to identify where the weak spots are, where the blind spots are in your company, or where the low-hanging fruits are. First, do the assessment, because once you do the assessment, you know what, it's like a traffic light: red, yellow, green. Green means, hey, all good. I don't have to do much there. Yellow means I need some improvement. Red means significant improvement or just absence of digital transformation where you really need to work on it. Once you have that, then a partner should ideally, if you find the right partner, help you to not only quantify it, build a business case for you, not only build a business case and the financials for you to talk about. Business terms are not technology terms, like return on investment. What's the total cost of ownership, right? Where do I get profitability? Where am I saving costs, right? Always the 4 key areas. If it's compliance, but if your company doesn't have compliance, it's fine. It's revenue, cost, or efficiency. It's almost always these few things, right? And if the partner is able to identify, if you do this low-hanging fruit, your benefit is quite high, and help you to prioritize it in a quadrant, and then that's how you help accelerate the company's digital transformation. It almost always requires a partner, because the partner will always tell you where your blind spots are and where you need to focus on.
I think one of the issues that the SME face is, usually they want to DIY, and that could be take a longer process, and you might stumble upon or fumble even more miserably. Always getting like the right partners with the good knowledge or good networks, and have the know-how. It really helps accelerate the period of transformation. So that's for sure.
Okay, our next question, I think it's quite interesting. Which level of should we start this digital transformation first? Is it junior level?
Junior level? No, actually, I don't agree whether it's what level it is. It has to be top down. To me, it has to be top down. And of course, like Chien has mentioned before, the leadership, like Tech3, the time you shared that during the pandemic, was the number one thing that you all hold on to. It was the leadership, right? And to me, if you want things to transform, it has to be from the top down all the way, and everyone have to have that buy-in and have to have that belief. For us, you used to be the yellow pages, right? The print, right? And it took us quite some time to transform, to become digital marketers, And the client base is still the same, right? And the channels keep on changing. From last time, the yellow pages used to be like the Google back then, many years ago, before the internet. And it became, multiple channels, and social media came into play, websites and search engines. But the important part is to transform. It has to be from every level, and a commitment from all departments as well. And everybody needs to also see the benefits of that transformation. If you transform for the sake of transforming, and then you get more troubles, and you don't get your KPIs met, and you don't get your goals, it's also no point also, right? So that's my take. How about you, Chien? You have
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I echo the same thing as well. But is what I mentioned earlier on too, the definition of digital transformation is also a cultural change. One of the key successes in a digital transformation is empowerment. And in our own Tech 3 journey, as we went through a digital transformation, the leadership team says, you know what, I empower you to take charge of this and you run with it. So everybody at different levels of the organization is taking part in this journey. Leadership provides the vision casting, inspiration, and then seeding the idea that, you know what, you need to be different. We need to take the market and we need to operate in the blue ocean and no longer in the red ocean, right? Through digital transformation. And when a leader does that, it inspires the team, and everybody from management and below will feel it because the essence of the leader is there. You can feel the essence, and that's where execution comes next. So consistency is also another key thing as well. So yeah, in short, it starts at the top, but it must permeate across the organization. Everybody in their heart must take it up and be part of their DNA.
Yeah.
We have one question in the audience that I feel is quite similar. I think that your answer just now answers this as well, right? How to manage this change for employees.
Yep. There's a discipline. Yeah, leadership is one of them. There's also another discipline that's used a lot by the larger enterprises called organizational change management. Understanding the psychology of how people adopt and take on change. Who are the laggards? Who are the early adopters? How do you manage the laggards? How do you manage the early adopters? How do you bridge everybody so that they're all on the same page and they all speak the same language, right? So I know that a lot of SMEs cannot afford to have their own OCM, organizational change management people on board. And that's where the partner who has this capability, because you're going to use this capability or service for just a while, just ensure that everybody's on the same page, everybody's running in the same speed with you, and then disengage after that. You don't want this person full-time on your company, on your payroll, right? It doesn't make sense, right? So outsourcing this capability makes a lot of sense. And if you have a partner that has one-stop shop, he can do the technology and the organizational change management bit. Fantastic. Yeah. Sorry, over to you, Chris.
Yeah. I definitely I do agree with your comment, and I think it's really pretty much also we have come across clients that have some people issues, right? There are some with them for long-term employees, and they already have like a method to do a way of life of doing their job already. And when technology come, some fear it's a replacement, some fear it's going to give them trouble, have to learn new tricks, So, but like I said before, it has to be a buy-in. It has to be a buy-in. Right.
Okay, I pull another question. What are the barriers that could possibly block our path to transformation?
Yep, sure. So let me help with that. Yeah, so like I mentioned, McKinsey says that 43% of people fail when they embark on digital transformation. Don't be afraid of that. I think that the fear of failing is certainly one of the key ones. But with digital technology today, it's cheap to fail. So in the past, you have to buy 3 servers and buy this software and buy that software before you can embark on the digital transformation. Today, with IT hybrid cloud technology, you can spin up a virtual machine. I'm sorry if I get too technical, but a virtual server that you can kill off very quickly as well. You can try, you can experiment. I think that one of the key ones is that being afraid of trying out things and trying to experiment. That's number one. And number two is that once you have that mindset and you cross that barrier, is empowerment. You need to empower your people as well. Make sure that they're able to run with projects and initiatives on themselves. That's very cool. And the third one, if you can afford it, if your organization is large enough, having a chief digital officer or something of that similar capacity. If you're a COO or COO, you can also carry that hat as well. That's very important because then there is a proper agenda that you're driving and you're showing leadership in that space, and it's definitely very much part of your DNA as well, right? I've talked about DNA a lot, so those are the 3 key things I can think of. Chris?
Yeah, I think you covered practically all of it. The three main things, yes.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next questions. Do you have a fixed digital transformation roadmap? If yes, can share. Is there a standard one?
Short answer, no. Unfortunately, everybody's asking me for that. In fact, I've been looking for this magical, thing as well. It doesn't. It's like a unicorn. It doesn't exist, right? Unfortunately, digital transformation roadmaps all have to be very tailored, not only industry specific but company specific. Why? It's because each company has a different operating model. In a sense, not extremely unique, but in a sense that your culture, your company culture plays a very important role here. So when you do the digital capability assessment, you understand from that perspective, oh, wow, I didn't realize that I'm weak in this area. Then from there, your digital transformation roadmap takes some shape or form. Of course, you can modify from there, but it forms a basis of where you can start off with through the digital capability assessment questionnaire. Right. So that's the best place to start with. Then from there, you know what? I think I need to turn these few areas green because it's I think it's important by business. But some areas you can leave red. It's fine. It's fine to leave some areas red. But I think some areas you say that suddenly you tickle and you ask the right questions. Those areas must be green because it's critical to my business. If I look at my business model canvas, it's critical. For me to add value, I must have that automated. So that's where you understand your digital transformation journey and your roadmap.
Right. I think today also we pair with Tech Tree to be able to do not only just the digital capabilities assessment, but we also are doing a digital marketing audit on top of it also as well. So it's a combo. So if you guys are interested into understanding like how can I externally reach out to my target audience, and internally how can I have better people management, to process management, to technology, what can I use, what technology I can use for my organization, it can be a great start. And that could be like a roadmap for you to build your own roadmap. Right.
Okay.
It's quite, yeah.
Next one, which do we address first? Digital marketing transformation or digital tech transformation?
Chris, you want to take it first? Or
yeah. I think both, it has to be hand in hand, right? It's like, I give you an example, right? If we have clients who were during the MCO, they suddenly reach out to us and they say, oh, last time, a few years ago, when you all did the digital SME day, you brought in Google and MDEC and all and talk about digital. Back then, we were not ready. Now we are ready. Of course, during the MCO, everybody needs to explore already, right? And we help them build the e-commerce and all, retail business. And when the leads came in and when the sales start to come in, the team itself was not able to handle the kind of volume of sales, not able to respond well with the clients, and after that, it didn't jive with what they did digital marketing, and because they have internally they have not used the proper the technology to support their processes and their people. So that's where there was a gap. So or if you can say, oh, let's build our internal transformation. Let's all adopt to technology for better people management, for processes and all. And then what's next? You still need to have an influx of clients. You need to communicate with your existing clients. So internal, external, it still has to be hand in hand. So Trin Yuan, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, maybe can I add to that as well, Chris?
Yes, please.
I like that story, how you explained it as well. I tend to see digital transformation is overarching. If you base it on the business model canvas, and a very key element, extremely important element, is digital marketing within that overarching model. So if you do everything automated internally and you don't do your digital marketing, you're not taking advantage of that, right? So what Chris says is absolutely correct. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to pick one last question, and this one is pointed to Mr. Chien. I noticed in TechTree website a mention of hybrid IT service. What is it all about?
Yeah, sure.
Someone is interested.
Yeah, so happy to answer the question. IT hybrid service is all about having the capability to consume IT technology, digital technology, wherever you are. And from a internal point of view, is like I'm having my IT services either on premise within my office or in the cloud or both, right? An advantage of that is depending on who's consuming the IT services, when are they consuming it, and how resilient does it need to be. For example, if I have a website that does payment 24/7, ideally should be maybe on the cloud. And maybe the database could actually reside within my data center or my IT server room. Why? It's because I need to protect the data due to compliance reasons, due to high security, so that hybrid of some part of my application in the cloud, some part of my application on premise, or could have a mobile application out there as well. That gives me the flexibility to design my application without the constraints that I might face. So hybrid IT services is something that TechTree helps with our clients to architect and design it, build it, test it, and then we can even help you operate it if you want to, but normally we pass it back to the client. That's what it's all about, yeah.
All right, that is everything. Okay, let me remove. Okay, we have we already it's already 4 o'clock. So I want to thank everyone in our audience for submitting their questions. We have covered a lot of questions actually for this session. But if there is any that we missed out, we apologize. We'll get our consultant to get back to you. And to our speakers for today, thank you very much for being here. Thank you so much for your sharing, for your insight.
Yep.
And is there anything else that you guys may want to convey to our audience?
I think if any one of you wants to know and assess yourself, whether it's your external digital marketing, where you stand, and of course your internal digital transformation, your capabilities, digital capabilities, where you stand. So do submit the worksheet that you can see in the comment section. And those of you who are tuning in not live, because these videos will be posted in all the social media channels available from TechTrees and also Trinity 42 and Pen Pages Trinity. Do also continue to submit this, because we have a team standby, a combination of TechTree team and Trinity team, to be able to address and to support you. Because like I said, the main purpose of this Survivor is Profit series is to be able to help each other and support each other moving forward. So it gives you some insights and how you can it's also perfect timing for you to plan out your New Year resolution for 2021. So if like what Tian has said earlier on, if you get the report, you know where you stand. It's like a body checkup. Then if your cholesterol is high or what, then you have the options to see whether you want to explore to lower it down or not. At least you know where you stand. So do leverage on this worksheet, and it's free of charge, and we are happy to be able to help in whatever way that we can. Kita support kita.
Yes. All right. Mr. Chien, do you have anything to say before I wrap?
Yeah, sure. On behalf of TechTree, I'd like to thank Chris and Azra for hosting us today, and also more importantly, the audience who took time off to tune into this session, and the fantastic questions. All I want to say is that all the best for 2021. Whatever you're planning, put some digital elements into the ingredient. I think I wish you all the best in your digital transformation journey. Right, thank you.
All right. Okay. So thank you everybody in the audience. Thank you to those who stayed with us from the beginning until the end. I'm so glad that this is our last webinar to wrap our 2020. And we're so looking forward to 2021. We have so much planned, so much we have in plan for our 2021 Survivor is Profit series action plan or content for next year. So do follow our social medias, our Facebook Trinity42 and our Instagram Trinity42 Digital, and you'll be able to get all our updates from there. And to our own clients, look forward to our newsletter. So thank you so much everyone for joining us, and
Have a nice day. Bye.